apparently I need to go in the settings and look at this. So this is part 2 of my ramble about the book I'm making. I was just talking about signatures. So I have the 2 in here, and it has a little natural bloom. I could flatten that out and it would have no bloom. Then I would add stuff in and it would bloom, and I would keep it tied shut. It probably would, once it's done and used, I intend to use this for journaling purposes. I bullet journal, and this is my bullet journal right here. So I've been using a book. I get these at Walgreens. This is just a size and style of book that I like. I don't like the Leuströms are gorgeous books and they're fun to work in, but I like a wider page, and Leuström doesn't sell anything in a size that I like. This is the perfect size for me, and this is a little bit smaller, so I will have to work on finding or making covers that actually come in the size I want. But this is my first one, so when I finish this one, I only have this much, maybe another month, 2 months at the most, depending on what I put in it. And the light is really going behind the clouds now, so I'm sorry if this is really dark. So we have the 2 signatures in bloom, and I was going to put in 3 signatures. That was my idea to start, but I didn't expand this part because you can just cut this out and make a new spine. You don't have to keep this spine in. And this spine is only about 1 inch, and I think most junk journalers for this size book, it's usually 1.5 inches, and that would easily fit 3 signatures. But you can see I put the 3rd signature in there, and that one's not flattened either. And you've got more bloom, and so by the time you put in all of the other stuff, it'll be like this. And yes, I can hold it closed with ties, but I'm worried once I've used it and added in, you know, and here you can see I've added, you know, a lot of it's flat, but I do glue in some things, and there's more in here somewhere. I used some washi tape here, and I've added in some matte pieces. Here are some fortunes from when we got from Panda Express, and so I do add in some stuff, and these books get a little bloom in them, but not like a junk journal would. I do some stamping. It's just a lot of fun. And here on this calendar, instead of just drawing, let's see, where did that go? November. Now it's gonna, I put in the thing that I made there and some tarot card stuff. Now I'm not going to find it again. Just because I want to find it again. Maybe it's in this part. Oh, there we go. So this one is just I have these rolls of paper from the paint store, and I think they're for painters use them. But I have 2 different colors. I have this green color, and I have a rust color as well. And so in December I did wrapping paper circles with a punch. And then I used this green paper, and I did that for my calendar instead of, and you can see I don't do cursive well. I don't have that beautiful handwriting you see in them. So this is kind of what I'm going to use this for. And it's not my ideal size, but I think it will be a fun experiment for a couple of months. This might hold 2 months with just the 2 signatures in it. And they're fun to make, so I don't mind making them over and over again. And like I said, I'll probably make them in batches. So I have, you know, 2 of this book. It was book 1 and book 2 in a series. And then I have this book, which my son left behind. And then this one is actually holding 3 signatures. This is a really beat up, no, this is the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I thought it was a thesaurus. This was all 5 books. The inside flaps used to say the Hitchhiker's Trilogy, or the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a trilogy in 5 parts, you know, so you get that kind of irreverent humor that came with the book, but it was falling apart. You can see it's really beat up. Both my kids read this, you know, because I'm a fan. But once I gutted it, the spine is a little wider. The spine on this one is, but yeah, about 1.5 inches. So it comfortably takes 3 signatures. And I think I could actually put a 4th one in there, because you can see this doesn't have any. It actually goes down a little bit instead of, you know, right about here would be even. I could put in a 4th signature, but again, the bloom, I'm trying to avoid that, and I want to leave some space to work in it. But those are the 4 that I'm working on right now, and they'll all kind of be in this style. But I have some botanical books and some stuff like this that I saw on another video that I fell in love with. And this, I work with Athena a lot in my pagan stuff. And I have a particular affinity for owls. So I really liked this image in there. But there's all of this kind of nature, sketchbook, journaling. And so this was a printed book. And I actually managed to, this was a sewn in book. You can see where the stitches were right here along the spine. And I managed to get pieces of it, the whole page. But you can see some fun stuff going on here. So I may use an image like this on one of the covers. The book has tons of beautiful, gorgeous plants and animals, and then the notes about it. So even a page like this would be quite fun. Depending on how you centered it, you would get some of the wording, and then you would maybe have a place over here, because it goes to right about here. So you could maybe put something like this on the side there, and put your little title down this way. There's just a lot of fun opportunities with this type of paper, and I really love that owl image. So one of the covers of the books that I make for me is definitely going to have this owl on it, and I don't know if it will have the full owl or just a part because of the size of this book. I'm particularly, this size is a 6 3/4 by about 8 and a little over a quarter, but not quite a half. So this is the size that I like best, something very close to that. I like the wider pages. I'm not particularly in love with the lines. I don't hate it, but on a spread like this where I've got my monthly calendar that I put in, unless I glue something in, the lines are in there, and I don't necessarily like that. Although in November, when I participate in NaNoWriMo, although the calendar goes this way, I will write in like my word count, total, you know, I'll turn it this way, and I'll use the lines in each day to do my total word count, my word count for the day, and maybe what my target was. I track various things in here. Right now it's just my son's pay periods and some stuff about when the full moon and the new moon are, so I can keep track of that. And sometimes I put in decorative stuff like this. This is a stencil that I have, and you can see it's pretty beat up. And then this part is these little distress inks. And so I just picked various colors and I rubbed them through. And while it is not the case here, shucky darn. I think I've lost the top of that one. March is typically the start of spring, so I went for kind of a mix between spring colors and still some kind of winter darker colors, and I like the effect that I got here. For us, the weather is already starting to warm up, and we can get warm and stay warm, and I'm talking 80s, 90s, high 90s even, as early as March. Although we've just had a couple of weeks of winter, what we consider winter weather, what Canadians and our people from the northern United States, Michigan, Minnesota, those kind of states come down here this time of year for the baseball. It's, you know, spring training here. Bike week is coming up, I think, if it hasn't already happened. There's a lot of events here in the spring, and the Canadians laugh at us because we'll be wearing parkas and long pants and stuff, and they're running around in shorts and short sleeves. So it's just acclimation. We think it's cold, and that's our winter. And in the almost 10 years now that I've been back in the Phoenix, Scottsdale area, there have only been 2